Hey Gators and sports fans, get all your Gator talk, news, analysis, and opinions on the Pod Up with Matthews in the Morning podcast. Find us on your favorite podcast platform or watch us on Facebook Live between 8 a.m. and 9 a.m. every weekday. Pod Up, because we are Gator fans. So say, it's great to be a Florida Gator.
Welcome to a Wednesday edition of Pod Up with Matthews in the Morning from the Crime Prevention Security System Studios. Got a good show lined up for you today, and we're going to kick it off right now with former Gator All-American golfer and works for NBC Sports covering the U.S. Open. He's out at Torrey Pines. Gary Koch. Good morning, Gary. How are you?
Shane, I'm doing fine. How about you?
Can't complain. Got a lot of golf questions for you. First of all, I want to ask your opinion on how they've changed the schedule of all the majors. You know, usually the PGA Championship was at the end. Do you like how they've changed it?
I do. The PGA was moved to kind of accommodate a move for the Players Championship back to March. So now you really have a nice little stretch there. March, you have the Players, April, the Masters, May, the PGA, June, the U.S. Open, and July, the Open Championship from, over England, Scotland, that type thing. So it really does line up very nicely now that you've got a huge event in each of those months right in a row. I think the players enjoy that scheduling a little bit better. And certainly for golf fans, it makes it pretty exciting to know that you've got that stretch of events coming up, boom, 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 right in a row.
Yeah, speaking of the PGA, in your mind, I mean, you've been a pro golfer, you've covered golf a long, long time. Do you think what Phil did there at Kiawah is maybe one of the greatest sports accomplishments in the game of golf? I mean, I know people want to go back to when Jack won the Masters. I guess he was 46. Tiger won it a couple of years ago. But for a course that they've never really played on tour, in my opinion, I feel like that's the greatest thing I've ever seen in golf.
Well, I think it certainly ranks right up there. No question about it. I mean, it certainly is one of the most surprising results that I think you could ever recall in golf, from the standpoint that, Mickelson had not been playing particularly well for quite some time. The Kiawah Island course, to me, is one that you would just not predict that Phil Mickelson would play well on. I mean, there's so much trouble off the fairways, and we all kind of know that the accuracy off the tee is not Phil's strength. But somehow or another, he put it all together. And, watching that final round, he drove the ball beautifully, kept the ball in play, made the putts that he needed to, displayed the short game that we've known he's had for years and relies on heavily. It was certainly, I would have to rank it right up there as one of the greatest accomplishments in golf. No question.
Yeah. This week, they're at Torrey Pines. What can you tell us about Torrey Pines? I've never played it, but it's a public course, right?
It is. It's a public golf course. In fact, we got some information just yesterday that they played 70,000 rounds of golf here in the year 2020. So very popular. It's a long golf course. Could stretch almost to 7,700 yards in length if they decide to use all the tees as far back as they can. It's just, I'd describe it as a big brute. Several par 4 holes, well over 500 yards in length. It sits right on the coast. So oftentimes you kind of get that marine layer coming in. The air is cool. It's damp. The ball tends to not go, maybe as far as it does in some other locations. Just a hard golf course. And the USGA set it up nicely. The rough is up off the fairways. The rough is really up around the greens. I'm sure they don't have them quite as firm or fast as they intend to come Thursday, but I think everything is lining up for it to be a great championship.
Let our casual golf fans that are watching and listening to this show, Gary, the U.S. Open, people can qualify to play in this. So can the average golfer like myself go to a local qualifying event to try to make it to the U.S. Open?
Well, it is an open championship, and that is something that the USGA does pride themselves on. But to be able to try to qualify at one of the local qualifyings to get started, you have to have a minimum handicap. And I believe now that is like 1.6 or somewhere in that range, 1.8, something like that.
Gotcha.
So, Shane, you better practice a little more, buddy.
There's no doubt. There's no doubt about that. Okay, I got to ask you, the whole Bryson DeChambeau, Brooks Koepka little rivalry going on right now. Is there really something there, or is it all just kind of made up?
I think there's something there. I don't think they particularly care for each other. It really started about 2+ years ago. They were paired together in one of the FedEx Cup playoff events at Liberty National in New Jersey. And Brooks made some comments in public about the pace of play of Bryson. Brooks plays quickly, and Bryson does not. Brooks is not the first guy to say that Bryson needs to speed up his play, but I think Brooks was pretty emphatic about it. The two had words on the putting green, I guess. They played together Thursday and Friday. Brooks made the comments after they finished on Friday. They had words on the putting green the next day. It sounded as though they were maybe not the most friendly words toward each other. And I think it's just kind of gradually grown from there. The social media obviously plays a part in it. Bryson sent out something about Brooks's body when Brooks was featured in the ESPN body issue, something about, my 6-packs are better than yours or something. And Brooks shot back with his picture of his 4 major championship trophies and said, I'm almost to a 6-pack, and this was back before Bryson won the U.S. Open. So how many do you have? So they've gone back and forth now for, about 2 years. And this was just kind of the latest in the little, back and forth with them. I don't think they're best of friends. I think, obviously they, respect one another for how well they're capable of playing golf. But, I wouldn't look for them to be having dinner together anytime soon.
Yeah, and I thought I saw on Twitter today that the USGA wanted to pair them up this weekend for the first 2 rounds, especially. But I guess they called Bryson DeChambeau and his agent, and they declined. If I was USGA, to hell with calling them, just put them together.
Well, for those of us in the media business, it would have been very welcomed, no question about it. But I can understand that. I think the thing the USGA is trying to avoid is having any kind of issues, with the spectators getting involved. And there was a little bit of that a couple of weeks ago at Memorial event, at Jack's event, when some of the spectators seemed to be egging on Bryson by yelling Brooksy, and a couple of times, I guess they actually yelled in his swing, and those people were removed. But I'm sure, the USGA wanted to be cautious about something like that happening here. You don't want something like that taking away from the prestige of the event.
No, not at all. A couple more questions here for you, Gary. When you look at this golf course, who are some of the guys on tour that it favors?
Well, I've been here for a couple of days now, and I've talked to a lot of the players, some of the teachers. I think the consensus, it just seems as though, the way the game is played now is just different than it used to be. When I used to play in U.S. Opens, you used to think of ways to try to make sure you avoided the rough. Pars were a good score. It seems as though the philosophy now is hit the ball as far as you can, go find it, and if it's played out of the rough, that's okay. You'll figure out how to do it from there. So if the players are correct, the teachers are correct, you got to look at Bryson because he's one of the longest out there, if not the longest. Dustin Johnson, another guy that is going to hit it a long way. Rory McIlroy. It'll be fascinating to see if that strategy will work here. It did it at Winged Foot when Bryson won the U.S. Open there, even though a lot of people didn't think it would. So, we'll see. But as of right now, I would say take somebody who can hit the ball a long way.
Yeah, my 3 guys are Koepka, Morikawa, and Schauffele. I just think Xander Schauffele is eventually going to win. It seems like he's in the top 5 of every major.
I agree with you 100%. Xander's from out here in this area and has played Torrey Pines a number of times, actually played high school golf matches here. So should feel very comfortable with the setting. And he's a guy to me that, there's just no weakness in his game. He's good off the tee. He's good with the irons, good around the greens, and he's a good putter as well. So I think you've done your homework.
Well, I mean, it's pretty easy to pick those guys, but let me ask you this too. How different is it? Because some guys play well on Bermuda greens, some guys play well on bent grass. I don't know what kind of grass is that in Torrey Pines, but does that make a huge difference? Is it about basically how you grew up playing golf?
Well, I certainly think, and by the way, the greens are Poana here at Torrey Pines, which is, kind of an unusual grass. It tends to grow unevenly as the day goes on, and it gets these little white seed heads to it, and they can get bumpy if they're not firm enough. Fortunately here, I think they'll be firm enough that they should roll pretty smooth even later in the day. But yes, no question, I think where you grew up playing, you're the most comfortable on. I know when I played, growing up on Bermuda grass, I felt like I had a huge advantage putting on those greens over the guys from California or the guys from up north that grew up on bent grass. But these guys are very good, and, they have to play under all kinds of conditions, all kinds of different grasses. Those who succeed have figured out a way to get comfortable on those different surfaces. So, you look at, Mickelson, obviously from out here. You mentioned Xander Schauffele, another guy who's played here a lot. John Rahm's had tremendous success here at Torrey Pines in the regular tour event. So obviously there are some guys that are probably a little more comfortable on the greens than others. But overall, if you're going to make a living playing this game, you better be able to adjust to the varying grasses. Yeah,
I was going to let you go, but you brought up John Rahm, so I got to get your thoughts on what happened to him at Jack's tournament.
Well, it was unfortunate, obviously. Protocols are in place. Every player that plays on the PGA Tour is aware of those protocols. John was informed, the early part of the week, Monday of that tournament, the Memorial, that someone in his inner circle had tested positive, that he was going to need to test every day and test negative to continue to play. He was offered the opportunity to pull out of the tournament on Monday of that week. He decided not to take his chances, and unfortunately, he came up with a positive test. So I don't think any player out here on the tour would say that it wasn't handled properly. You just can't. The protocols have been in place since the tour returned back in, July of 2020. So you could argue that maybe the protocols need to be changed, but there's no way that you could make an exception to that.
Yeah. What holes are you going to be covering, Gary?
My holes this week are number 2, number 6, number 9, number 12, and number 17. So I've got 2 of the longest and hardest par 4s in 6 and 12. Second hole is a short 4 that I wouldn't be surprised if we actually see some guys drive very close to the green. So that could be exciting. And then the ninth hole is one of the par 5s that, again, with good tee shots, guys will be able to reach into. So we may see a few eagle opportunities there. So should be a lot of fun. And, hopefully it'll be competitive, which I'm sure it will be.
Well, the great thing about it, us on the East Coast, we get to watch nighttime golf this week. So
prime time, baby. That's right.
Yes, sir. Well, Gary, we appreciate you taking the time out there at Torrey Pines for joining us. Be safe. Have a good call, my man.
All right. We'll do it, Shane. Always great to talk to you.
Yes, sir. That's Gary Koch joining us on the Titan MRI Hotline. Going to take our first time out of the program here on this Wednesday edition. We'll come back, and I think we're going to be joined by JC. You're watching and listening to Pot Up with Matthews in the Morning from the Crime Prevention Security System Studios. We'll be right back.
We want to take this moment to thank all our sponsors who keep the show going and pay the bills. Our gridiron sponsors are Crime Prevention Security Systems, large enough to serve you, small enough to care. Titan MRI, Gainesville's only locally owned and operated MRI facility. Meldon Law, won't back down. Peachland Dental, Gator Nation's first choice for dentistry in Port Charlotte. Comfort Temp, comfort is our business, peace of mind is our promise. QC Kinetics, non-surgical regeneration, live pain-free. South State Bank, Celebration Point Town Center, Chris Doring Mortgage. Some of our touchdown sponsors are Big Mills Cheesesteaks, MB Listing, Cornerstone Financial, McDonald's of Gainesville, My IT Masters, Gainesville Neon and Signs, 84 Lumber, Tropical Smoothie Cafe, Chick-fil-A on Archer Road, Avra and Smith, Dowling Signs, Chomp Harder Apparel, Ruse Ogra Agent, State Farm Insurance, Silver Cube Billiards and Sports Bar. If you are interested in promoting your business on the show, visit potupwithshane.com and click the advertise button. Again, thank you to all the great businesses that support the show. If you like what we are doing here, make sure to follow us and support the businesses that support us. Welcome back to the Crime Prevention Security System Studios, large enough to serve you, small enough to care. At Celebration Points, where the Gators go to celebrate. With premium brands like Regal Cinemas, Dave & Buster's, Nike, Le Macaron French Pastries, Kilwins, and coming summer of 2021, the HBC's new restaurant, Spurrier's Gridiron Grill, and Visors Tailgate and Rooftop Bar. We will see you at Celebration Point, where the Gators go to celebrate. I want to thank Gary Koch for joining us from Torrey Pines. He was very busy, and we appreciate him taking time to join us. Now we're going to go to the Titan MR hotline, and we're going to be joined by a guy that plays golf like Gary Koch. JC, good morning. Good morning, JC. How are you?
Oh, man, it was quite an introduction. Thank you, Shane. Yeah, golf is wonderful when the weather is good and you get to go to exotic places like I just got to do. We are on the road from beautiful Kiowa Island straight to Charleston International Airport, fly back to Florida. And I'm going to tell you, Shane, Kiowa Island, the ocean course that I played yesterday, is everything you think it is. When you have literally 5 or 6 holes going dead into a 20-mile-an-hour wind, playing a course from 6,700 yards, which was about 900 yards less than what they did for the PGA Championship, you are experiencing golf at a different level, my man. And then, of course, it comes back around toward the clubhouse on the back nine with the wind behind you. At least that's how it was blowing for us yesterday, and that's how it was blowing for the guys at the PGA. A big shout-out and thank you to Joe Cox and his friends at the Ronald McDonald House and Ronald McDonald's. In fact, I'm at McDonald's right now, because they invited me on this trip, and I couldn't thank them enough for what they were able to provide for me and all of the other guests who came to enjoy this annual event. And Kiowa Island is fabulous. I can't endorse it high enough.
What does, obviously you're planning some kind of outing, JC, but what does it cost to play Kiowa Island for the general public? Do you know?
Well, it's private, so you can't.
I thought it was a public course, because I thought the PGA Championship only plays their tournaments at public golf courses. I guess I was wrong there.
There are plenty of public courses around here. Like we played Cougar Point, and there's a couple of other courses, but the Osprey Point, but the Ocean course specifically, I believe, is exclusive. So, I thought any event that's played as a PGA Championship event is always played at a public golf course. I don't know why I thought that. I mean, you could be right. I was just discussing that actually with some folks who were getting us some loafers as part of the event, and they told me it was private. But it could be. I just know this. If you get the chance ever to do it, it's worth the experience. And there's really no other venue kind of like, they literally have it out on a marsh, and then it goes directly out to the beach, and you're playing alongside the Atlantic Ocean, which is maybe 100 yards away. It's that close, and the wind really does influence how you play that course. I had a couple of shots where I literally had to aim 20 yards either left or right of the green to get the ball to properly approach the green. So, it's in great shape, obviously, because it's so exclusive, and it's one of those courses where I can understand how Bryson DeChambeau would say it might be the toughest course he's played on tour. To think about what Phil Mickelson was able to do at his age, we keep talking about that, but really, I think the fact that he could shape those shots and make those shots and keep that ball and be under par is just an unbelievable accomplishment. It's the best one. It's probably the most impressive thing for a professional golfer at that caliber to do, is win a course out over 4 days, walk in that place and win with that wind, and have guys like Brooks Koepka on your heels all day and be able to hold on to win it. And really, it's amazing when you think about all the people that were on that course, especially on Sunday on 18 when they were coming up, you could see and get a feel for how big the gallery was. The road going in and out of Kiowa Island is 2 lanes. So it's a couple of hours just to go about 25 miles because of how small it is. And they can't really expand the road that well because it's literally driving through a marsh. So
Yeah, well,
I don't know. I think it's quite an event.
Yeah, I Googled it. I Googled it as you were speaking. Kiowa Island Ocean Course is a public golf course.
I just saw that too because I was so the person was wrong. I just know that
they just wanted to make you feel real special is what it was, JC.
Well, they did, especially when they got my shoe size for those loafers. Wait till you see these loafers.
What did you wear? What did you wear? Flip flops?
Well, no. I mean, no. I had some running shoes on, and then I put on my golf shoes. But they were off. FootJoy was kind enough to offer shoes, and I got these loafers, Shane. I thought of you because I thought, wow, if Shane could only see me in these beautiful loafers that I'm about to order for FootJoy.
So basically, you're going to throw in the trash your penny loafers that you still have the penny in, is what you're saying.
It might be time to let them go, Shane. It might be.
Yeah.
I'm upgrading everything.
Yeah, so, Chris Doring Mortgage, they do mortgage lending right, helping home buyers throughout Gainesville and North Central Florida. Call Chris Doring Mortgage today at 352-244-0840. Speaking with JC on the Titan MR hotline, and he is so excited he's got some new loafers to wear. JC,
that's right.
So real quick before we change the subject and talk real sports, what did you shoot?
So let's see, I shot 78 and I shot 76 the day before at Cougar Point. We only played Cougar Point from 6,100 yards. It wasn't very long.
Oh, dear Lord. That is very short.
I know, but there's a lot of places where if you hit the ball, you're in big trouble because there's so much water and sand everywhere. The sand is very fine. The ball sinks in the sand, literally, over here. It's like hitting it off the beach, really. So, but then at this course, we played it at 6,600 yards yesterday, and it wasn't bad. I mean, it's very wide. I had no problem getting the ball out there. It's just the greens are very fast, and you have to be able to navigate through the wind. But I had a great time, shot well, and, enjoyed my time with these McDonald's folks, man. These guys are great.
Yep. In the world of sports last night, the New Jersey Nets come from 17 down behind Kevin Durant's triple-double. He scores 49 points. A lot of experts say it's the greatest game Durant has ever had. They take a 3-2 lead over the Milwaukee Bucks. Tonight, you got 2 NBA games, both of those series tied at 2. Could you imagine the Atlanta Hawks going to have a chance to play in the Eastern Conference Finals? Is pretty bizarre to me.
It's tremendous. Brooklyn Nets did it last night without Harden and without Irving. So if Brooklyn could get those guys back on the court, they're the team to beat. I clearly believe that in either conference. And I think they'll finish off Milwaukee. Durant just can basically win a game by himself. He's that kind of guy. You know that. He's the first guy, I think, since Jordan who can literally just go ahead and put a team on his shoulder, or Magic Johnson, and win the game all by himself without any help. So Brooklyn's got the players to do it. We'll see if they can. And I think they're the team to beat.
Yep. Last night in hockey, JC's Lightning take a tie the series up 1-1. Did you get to watch any of that game, or were you partying with your loafers all night?
No. Well, remember I ordered the loafers, though, so they'll be in the mail. But I'll show them to you. I'll show them to you when we get back. I was at the King Street Bar and Grill last night, enjoying the McDonald's hospitality.
Okay, so you did not see it. So anyway, I got a text here on the Titan MR text line, and it comes from Frank. And Frank has said he's been meaning to text the show, but he wanted to know, JC, how did you become such a hockey fan?
Well, it's just a function of going to a couple games and seeing how fast it was and how I enjoyed watching it so much. The first hockey game I saw in Florida was actually in St. Petersburg when Tampa Bay played at the Tropicana Dome because they didn't have Amalie Arena constructed. When they started their franchise in the 90s, they played out at the fairgrounds in Tampa, Hillsborough County area. They then moved it to Tropicana Field. They had 30,000 fans once, and we went to watch them play a playoff game, and I swore, I said, this is the most fun thing I've ever watched. And so I just kind of got hooked on it, and I believe, when you have a state like Florida that has 2 NHL franchises, when you have a state like Texas that has one, you've got one now in Vegas, you've got a couple in California. These are typically not hockey havens in America, but the sport is so popular and it's done so well, maybe not with television ratings, but with attendance figures, that it's very, very fun to watch. You have to go in person and see a hockey game. It does no justice on television watching it. But if you see it in person and you start to understand how the game is played, and then you see how physical and how fast these guys are, I think it's great entertainment. So I really just went ahead and said, Tampa's my Florida adopted team. As I grew up, I always liked the Boston Bruins because we didn't have any hockey teams down here. I think the closest hockey team at the time was the Atlanta Flames. They eventually moved to Calgary. And so, and then, look, you got a hockey team in Raleigh, North Carolina. They love those guys. The Carolina Hurricanes, they also won a cup. You've got a hockey team in Nashville, Tennessee. They love the Predators. It's great entertainment. And if you get a chance to go to a game, go to a game toward the end of the season when they're really playing hard, and you're going to see a lot of exciting stuff. I just find it fascinating to watch.
Yeah, we got a Facebook Live brought to you by Meldon Law, the only official law firm partner of the Florida Gators. John says, my 7 to 8-year-old all-star team won the district tournament this past weekend, and we're headed to the state tournament. Maybe Mike Rideout from the prepzone.com will call our game. That'd be pretty cool. He might be. I'm not sure. Congratulations to your little all-star team there, John. Y'all enjoy the festivities there. JC, we haven't spoken. I guess we taped your Monday show. But Mississippi State ended up beating Notre Dame. Arkansas was upset, which was shocking. So the 18 field is set for Omaha. Have you looked at the two brackets to kind of give us thoughts of who you think might win or maybe matched up for the championship series?
Yeah, I have, and I really like Vanderbilt's path. I think Tennessee is a team you better watch, but Vanderbilt's path to me with that matchup they're going to have, I think, makes a lot of sense to pick them. I'm surprised at North Carolina State. I was shocked to see them win 2 straight games at Arkansas after losing that first game by 20 runs. The way they hung in there, NC State, that could be a surprise team, but I wouldn't expect them to win it. I think it's going to be between either Vanderbilt and or Texas. Texas will play Mississippi State. I'll root for the Bulldogs, but Texas is very strong. They're a very good team. They're the highest ranked team there, and so they have to be considered a favorite. I also think that Tennessee could be a team that's riding so much momentum right now that I wouldn't want to deal with them either at this point. But Vanderbilt to me is still the team with that pitching that makes the most sense to eventually play Texas in the finals.
Yeah, I actually think Vanderbilt's going to play one of the SEC teams. I think they're either going to play Tennessee or State. I know Texas is the 2-ranked team in America, but I just think the SEC is going to have an all-SEC final out there. So, we'll see. And I'm not sure about the way the brackets are set up, the losers brackets and all that, but I know you stay on the same side. So my point is if Vanderbilt wins, because, they always say winning game 1 is so important for your pitching rotation. But with those two dudes, if they win game 1, you can pretty much pencil Vandy in.
Well, you have to like them against Arizona, and then they play the winner of the NC State-Stanford game should they win. I just think Vanderbilt, with those two pitchers, gets through the first 2 games, and you get something like 3 days off, literally, out of the winner's bracket. So to me, if you can beat 2 Pac-12 teams or NC State, you're going to get those 2 wins you need to get the advantage while everybody else beats each other up trying to survive. So double elimination. I think Vanderbilt looks really great on their side, and I would pick Texas because they're the favorite, but I'll be pulling for the Bulldogs. But I think it's between them and Tennessee in that side.
If you got any joint pain in your knees, shoulders, hip, or back that won't go away, you need to check out QC Kinetics for long-lasting relief. No surgery, drugs, or downtime. Schedule your free consultation at QC Kinetics, 352-400-4550. Call them today. That's QC Kinetics. 352-400-4550. JC, do you need to call QC Kinetics after this golf trip?
Well, I do. I think it would be a good idea as I recuperate from this last 2 days. I'll tell you, these McDonald guys know how to go, man. They go fast, they go hard, and they got it all set up. These McDonald guys. So, go pick up a quarter-pounder today, QB. I mean, they really do. They've got it set up. So.
All right, we got a Facebook Live here brought to you by Meldon Law, the only official law firm partner of the Florida Gators. Charlie says, Shane, I've never seen anything like that baseball stadium out at Mississippi State. Looks good for the SEC in Omaha. For the 3-game series against Notre Dame, they had more than 40,000 people in that ballpark. I'm telling you, for all our people that listen to us, I know I talk facilities, I talk this, talk that. You know, most of these sports people have their bucket list. I want to go to Fenway Park or, you know, Wrigley Field, whatever it is. If you love college athletics, you have got to go see a series in Dudy Noble in Starkville, Mississippi.
Yeah.
There is nothing like it.
It's true. I mean, the way they set it up, I've never seen people literally hanging over the outfield fence. I mean, they are hanging over the outfield fence out there. And, you know, you got this structure in left field that houses apartments with patios that face the ballpark that you can purchase and be a part of or rent. And then, of course, the structure is 2 levels. It holds over 14,000 fans. It is just an amazing place to watch baseball. They really have invested a lot into it. They knew that this could happen, that their vision has come true. I think the SEC is so well represented in baseball. I just wish the coverage would be better from a media standpoint. I wish baseball players got more than 9.5 scholarships or 11.5 or whatever the number is. I think they should have full scholarships for the entire roster, if you ask me. I know it's expensive, but baseball, if you invest in it, it will treat you well. And that's what's happened at Mississippi State. That's what's happened at Mississippi. That's what's happened at Arkansas. That's what's happened at LSU. You know, you have dynasty and now in Nashville, Tennessee, as Vanderbilt University is going for a 3rd World Series title. And they arguably could have already had 3. They've got 2 and probably should have won the one they lost. So when you think about the money that's invested in baseball in the Southeastern Conference, there is none other. You can't compare it to anyone else, any other conference, and it is the best in the country. And I just wish there was better coverage or more coverage of college baseball from a national perspective. I think it's great.
Well, I think the SEC Network does a pretty good job covering it. But speaking of baseball, JC, I want to get your thoughts before we let you go, and then we got to do our golf picks. But I don't know if you've been following Major League Baseball, but now they have, I suppose, because I haven't followed it, I'll start watching it when the playoffs come. But there's been a lot of doctoring up the baseball by these pitchers, apparently. Are you up to date on that?
Well, I've glanced over that. I haven't really dived into it very, very deeply. I know they're going to scrutinize these pitches a lot harder. But, you know, if it's a corked bat or if it's a screwed up baseball, it always seems like there's somebody trying to get an advantage over someone else. And I don't know how you address it, really, other than just get a little bit more scrutiny of it. Put more scrutiny on it.
It's amazing to me, you know, because they're talking about how guys have like sunscreen on their arms or on their they spray it on their pants, and how all these things can doctor up a baseball, but they're doing it, and I think guys are being suspended now if they're caught doing it. So it's quite interesting. John says here on Facebook Live, brought to you by Mental Law, why is it that JUCO baseball gets full scholarships but D1 gets partial scholarships? I don't know if that's true or not. I can find that out, but I don't believe JUCO gives full scholarships either.
I don't see why they would. I mean, how could they afford that? So, I mean, I don't know that answer either. Johnny Wiggs would tell you, though. You can call him.
I know, but but I'm pretty sure that's not true. But you know, what do we know? Refresh your vehicle and your brand with a vehicle wrap from Wrap Spot. June is your lucky month at Wrap Spot. Mention promo code Chamber, see 13% off your vehicle wrap. Speaking with JC, JC is coming back from his glorious golf trip with his new loafer. Anything else did you get other than loafers, JC?
Well, no, I got a hat, I got a shirt, I got dinner paid for me, I got all the alcohol I can want playing golf. I mean, dear God, it was just, I don't know what I did to deserve this. It was Christmas in June. I mean, this is unbelievable. But again, thanks to the McDonald's folks, thanks to Big Joe, who has an assortment of restaurants. Go visit one of his places in DeLand or Daytona or Ormond and Orlando. He's got great restaurants. So, I mean, you know, why wouldn't I go? Of course I'm going to go.
Yeah, I mean, you never turn down a free trip. There's no question about that. Speaking of that, let's get to our Peachland Dentistry, Gator Nation's #1 choice for dentistry in Port Charlotte and surrounding areas. It's now time for the Peachland Dentistry JC and the QB U.S. Open picks from Torrey Pines. JC, have you ever played Torrey Pines?
No, but I've walked around the place. I have been there quite a bit. It's right there near Del Mar, California, south of Encinitas. And it's Del Mar is famous for a horse track they have there. Big horse country. Horse racing is big there. Of course, golf out Torrey Pines, as we know, is a public course. People literally walk up there and wait in line to go play it. You have the north and the south course. Tiger's done great there. Phil literally grew up there. So I think, looking at these picks, I'm going to kind of give you a name that you might not expect to do well, but I've got a tip on him from one of the McDonald's folks that I talked to this weekend. So we'll see how that turns out. But do you want me to pick first, or do you want to pick?
I'm going to go first because you basically won last week, so I get to go first. I'm going to go ahead and go with Brooks Koepka.
Oh, that's a shocker. I can't believe it. You're picking Brooks Koepka? Really? Oh,
he's my guy.
And I'm going to almost predict your next pick, but I won't do that. I'll let you do it, and then I'll say, yep, that's who you were going to pick. My first pick is going to be a guy who, like I said, nobody's thinking about, but one of these days is going to break through and win one of these deals, and that would be Tony Finau at Torrey Pines.
Tony Finau. Okay, that's a good pick. Quick, John says on Facebook Live his niece just got a full ride softball scholarship to LBW, which is JUCO. I know Chipola gives out full scholarships. Well, no, they give out some scholarships, but not everybody on the entire team is on scholarship. I mean, Florida's the same way. Florida baseball gets their 11.5 or 13.5, whatever it is. A couple of kids are on full scholarship, but then you got to break them up. Yeah. Like I said, I'll find that out, but I don't believe every kid that's on the roster at a junior college baseball program is on full scholarship. Okay, you got Tony Finau. That's a good pick. He just doesn't putt great, JC.
Well, he can hit a mile, and you just never know if he can get hot. But I agree with you. He does have problems putting. That's true.
Yeah, my second pick is, I pick him all the time, but he's a cash cow. And somebody asked me this. I don't know if it was on Facebook Live on Monday or Tuesday. No, it was when I was on with Buddy Martin, because I already did my picks with Buddy. But, I don't know about this, JC. You may know, but in golf, they have odds for guys to win. But they don't have odds for guys to hit the top 5 or the top 10 in every event, do they?
Not that I'm aware of, no.
Okay. Well, if they did, this guy, you would make money on him every freaking major golf tournament, and that's Xander Schauffele.
Yeah. Of course it is. And that's, a guy who is close, and he will also eventually break through. He's too good not to win one. All right, so I'm going to go with Tony, and then I'm going to go with the sentimental favorite who I know probably won't win, but you just can't ever count him out, and that's Philly boy, because he needs this for the career Grand Slam. He's had 6 runner-ups in the U.S. Open. It's inconceivable to me that he won't win one of these in his illustrious career, but it looks that way. However, if he were to win this, it'd be the story of the decade to go back to back. So I know it's probably not going to happen, but I'm rooting for him. So give me Phil. Yeah,
it'd be great to see him. He needs this. I'm going with the Cal Bear, who plays well. He grew up in California. I'm going with Colin Morikawa.
Yeah, a good pick there. And I'm going to go with the guy who should have won 2 weeks ago and had to leave because of COVID protocols and so forth. I feel
Your
like
guy.
I love John Rahm. I think that guy is just as good as it gets. I love Justin Thomas. I love TJ. I love them all, but you only let me pick 3. So give me John Rahm, give me Tony Finau, give me Phil Mickelson, and I will win. One of these guys is going to win the U.S. Open. What do you think?
Well, we'll see. Charlie says on Facebook Live he's taking Will Zalatoris, the youngster.
No chance.
No chance. Let me before we let you go, JC, let's talk about this day in sports at Comfort Temp. Comfort is our business. Peace of mind is our promise. Comfort Temp's now hiring team members with all levels of experience, great culture and benefits and opportunity for growth. You get $1,000 sign-on bonus for qualified positions. Call them today at Comfort Temp. It's 352-376-2366. Got two this day in sports. First, in 2019 at the U.S. Open, Gary Woodland at Pebble Beach wins by 3 over defending champ Brooks Koepka. But here's one that I want to – is this in 2008? I don't know if this is the last time the U.S. Open was at Torrey Pines or not, but you know who won in 2008 at Torrey Pines?
Tiger.
Tiger won in a playoff against Rocco Mediate.
Yeah, whole day. The U.S. Open does the playoff 18 holes the next day. There's no sudden death. There's none of that. It's an 18-hole deal. And that's what that was the last major Tiger won before his wife tried to kill him with a golf club. And and basically, it took him, I don't know, however long it took until he could win the Masters to get number 15. But that was his last major. He was playing on a bum knee, and Rocco. I think everybody was really sentimentally hoping for Rocco to win, but Tiger just beat him in that 18-hole deal with half a leg. And then, of course, Elin tried to lop his head off with a 9-iron not too long after.
Yeah. So, JC, I need to let you know about this event going down in Ocala tonight. So when you land,
Sure.
you need to get there. Our good friends at Meldon Law, Jeffrey Meldon's opening up his grand opening celebration there in Ocala tonight. They're going to be having giveaways. You may get another pair of loafers, JC, if you show up. They're going to have live music, food and drinks, and the HBC. The guy Steve Spurrier is going to be there signing autographs.
Yeah. There you go.
He could sign your loafers.
Well, I can't wait to show them to you when they come in the mail, but they'll be here soon, and I'll make sure you see them.
Okay. All right, JC. Y'all have a good trip back, my man.
All right. We'll talk to you Friday.
All right. That's Corn Dog joining us on the Titan MR hotline live en route to the Charleston International Airport from Kiowa Island. We're going to take our second time out of the program today. We'll come back. We'll take your Facebook Live questions, comments, and also your texts on the Titan MR hotline. You're watching and listening to Pot Up with Matthews in the Morning from the Crime Prevention Security System Studios.
We want to take this moment to thank all our sponsors who keep the show going and pay the bills. Our gridiron sponsors are Crime Prevention Security Systems, large enough to serve you, small enough to care. Titan MRI, Gainesville's only locally owned and operated MRI facility.
Meldon Law, won't back down.
Peachland Dental, Gator Nation's first choice for dentistry in Port Charlotte. Comfort Temp, comfort is our business, peace of mind is our promise. QC Kinetics, non-surgical regeneration, live pain-free.
South State Bank,
Celebration Point Town Center, Chris Doring Mortgage. Some of our touchdown sponsors are Campus USA Credit Union, Adams Rib Company, Doreen Wiebe Realtor Caldwell Banker, MM Parish, Gator Dominoes, Celebrate Primary Care, Gator Bait Media, Wrap Spot, Okido America, Gators Dockside, Style Cuts, Ironwood Golf Course, Meadowbrook Golf Course, Silverback Concrete Company. If you are interested in promoting your business on the show, visit potupwithshane.com and click the advertise button. Again, thank you to all the great businesses that support the show. If you like what we are doing here, make sure to follow us and support the businesses that support us.
Looking for all type of restaurant people, managers, servers, bartenders, hosts, cooks, dishwashers, bussers. If you think you're good in the restaurant business, then give us a call.
Spurrier's Gridiron Grill job fair is open now. All you have to do is go to spurriersdraft.com and fill out an application.
We're looking for the good team members, and we're looking for people with a wonderful attitude that can make Spurrier's Gridiron Grill the best we can possibly be. To apply, go to spurriersdraft.com.
Welcome back to the Crime Prevention Security System Studios, large enough to serve you, small enough to care. We really want to thank Gary Koch again for joining us from Torrey Pines out in California, and also JC joining us from Kiowa Island on his way to the Charleston International Airport. Center State Bank is now South State Bank, but we still put business first. We understand that small businesses need a community business partner that they can rely on. South State still has 4 convenient Alachua County locations. South State Bank, banking forward, member FDIC. I had a text here, and this is oh goodness, this is an old text. Never mind, scratch that. Again, I'm interested if anyone does know the exact amount of scholarships for junior college softball or baseball. If you're listening, shoot us a text or a comment on Facebook Live. I'm pretty sure it's not a full ride. Not every player. Maybe a few get them here and there. If you missed it last night, the Nets come from 17-18 down. Kevin Durant has a triple-double. A lot of the experts say it was his greatest game in his career. They come from behind, defeat the Milwaukee Bucks. They lead it 3-2. And tonight,
in the NBA. You got Game 5, the series tied at 2-2. Hawks are at the 76ers in your early game. The evening game, another series is tied 2-2, Game 5. The Utah Jazz, the number 1 overall seed, is at home against the LA Clippers. And in hockey, if you missed it last night, the Tampa Bay Lightning tie up their series with the New York Islanders. It's tied 1-1. Tonight's game, you got the Montreal Canadiens that are down 1-0 to the Vegas Golden Knights. That's pretty much the only sports going on right now. I mean, obviously you got Major League Baseball if you follow that. I'll start following that once the playoffs start. Tony says here on Facebook Live, brought to you by Metal Law, thank you for having Gary on. Appreciate the different guests. Yeah, we try to. This time of the year, folks, though, I ain't going to lie to you, it's hard. A lot of people on the road, including myself and JC, but a lot of the analysts, athletes, coaches, this is their time to get away with not much going on. So we appreciate them taking the time. Joseph says on Facebook Live, I got a white Gator helmet signed by the HBC at the Doug Johnson Reeling for Kids fishing tournament this past weekend in Steinhatchee. They gave them out to the kids that won the kids division, and one of the kids was a Georgia Bulldog, so he wasn't happy about it at all. I bought it off him for $100, best $100 I ever spent. That's great, Joseph. That's hilarious. I could imagine Doug passing out in the kids division. Actually, my son won the kids division back when he was about 10 or 11 in Doug's tournament, but he didn't win a helmet. He won some little cheesy trophy Doug gave out, I think. But Doug does a tremendous job with that with his fishing tournament over there in Steinhatchee. But that's hilarious. I could see that Georgia Bulldog, that little kid. What am I going to do with this, Dad? So yeah, $100 for a helmet signed by the HBC. That's good wheeling and dealing there, Joseph. Got a text here on the Titan MR text line. George wants to know, what does the football team do over the summer away from the practice field? That's a pretty good question there, George. Basically, what the football team, they have morning workouts and some afternoon workouts. So they still work out as a team. They can't really go out with coaches to do football-related activities right now. So what they do is they have set times where the receivers and the quarterbacks all meet, say, in the indoor complex at 4:30 or 5 o'clock in the afternoon. They kind of go through the route tree. They do a little 7-on-7, work on their timing, work on different plays, things of that nature. But, basically, a lot of them are in summer school. And so they usually have morning groups that are lifting, and then they have afternoon groups that are lifting, but they all try to do some football-related activities in the indoor complex right now. A lot of the NFL teams now have finished up their mini camps. There were high remarks with Trevor Lawrence coming out of Jacksonville. I was talking to someone the other day, and I was like, look, dude, they're in shorts. He's a good player, but let's not put him in the Hall of Fame right now. But pretty much all NFL teams are done now until training camps kick off. So, and then Larry sends a text on the Titan MR text line. He wants to know, how important are the camps that we're holding for recruitments? Honestly, nobody gets scholarship offers from camps, really. So camps are it's for kids. It depends on, okay, there's two categories. You got the kids that are being recruited. It's a way for the coaches to work them out, see them hands-on, ask them to do different things so they can evaluate. Then you got the kids that are just Gator fans or Bulldog fans or wherever, and they're just traveling around, or mom and dad want to drop them off for a few vacations. I don't know if they do the overnight camps. They used to have where you stay 2 or 3 days. Most camps now are one-day camps. But you have the different types of athletes that go. The ones that just love their team, want to say, hey, I went to the Dan Mullen Gator football camp. But it's important to get the kids on campus. So the coaches can, they watch the game tape of these 4 and 5 stars, but now I want to see you in person. See, if you're a DB, put you through DB drills, see what kind of hips you have. Can you play the ball? Those type things. So that's why it's important for these one-day camps. These kids come in, they get a lot of interaction with the coaches. They can also see the facilities if you've never been there. And, like last year with COVID, nobody was able to visit. So appreciate the text there. We got a couple Facebook Lives here brought to you by Meldon Law. And of course, our great crack research staff, better known as Rick, here on Facebook Live. He says, JUCO. The NJCAA allows 24 scholarships per school for the sport of baseball, which are full ride financial aid grants. Some junior college may offer just partial grants and aid. Of course, as with any marketplace, the best products are the most valuable. So top athletes tend to receive the best offers. There are 184 Division I. Yeah, okay. So maybe they do. Because if you look at Santa Fe College here in Gainesville, they don't play football, so I don't know, but now it's per sport. So yeah, I guess y'all are right. I was wrong. So that's interesting. I don't know. I still, to this day, do not understand why college Division I baseball programs are not allowed to give at least 24 to 25 scholarships. It makes absolutely no sense to me. Same way with softball. They all deserve, if you're playing at that level, you deserve a scholarship. Tim Walton and Kevin O'Sullivan shouldn't have to decide, okay, I'm going to give X amount of dollars to this girl. She's going to get that. I don't quite understand it. It does bother me. Hopefully that will change at some point. Tomorrow's program, don't forget, we're going to have Brent Beard talking college football. If you got any questions for Brent, make sure you shoot them to us. What else? Yeah. So if you're a golf fan, this is a great weekend for, it's Father's Day weekend, but I know we talk a lot of golf, but the great thing about a major being played out on the West Coast is we'll get nighttime golf. So you can get whatever you got going on during the day, come home at night, turn it on, and you'll see tremendous golf from Torrey Pines out in California. As I said, Brent Beard will be on tomorrow. Make sure you tell all your friends and family to follow our program, regardless of how you watch us or listen to us, whether it's on Facebook, YouTube, Apple Podcasts, Spotify, Google, iHeartRadio. There's so many of them out there that I'm not really familiar with, but follow us. Just click that button that says follow and tell all your friends as well. Make sure also, if you're in the Ocala area, or even if you're in Gainesville, head on down to Ocala today. You get to see the HBC. It doesn't cost you a dang thing. It's 1326 South Pine Avenue from 4:30 to 7 tonight or this afternoon. It's the grand opening celebration of Meldon Law. They won't back down right there on South Pine Avenue. As I said, they're going to be giving away stuff. They're going to have live music, food and drinks, and the special guest, the head ball coach, Steve Spurrier. So go down there and get you something signed by the HBC and go from there. Jeff says real quick here on Facebook Live, most D1 schools don't make money, and the schools that lose won't vote to get the number higher. I agree with that, but I'll be damned. I guarantee you Florida's making more money than Santa Fe College or whatever college to give all those kids scholarships. And I know the cost is a little bit different, but gymnastics doesn't make any money, and all their girls get full rides. So I don't know how you determine how gymnastics can do it, but softball can't. That's what I don't understand. I'm not smart enough to figure it out, though. Joseph says, as a top fan, I should know this, but what is the new hats for JC thing that pops up while watching? Well, JC is a bandwagon fan, Joseph. So whoever wins the night before, whatever sport JC is watching, he has a hat or T-shirt or jersey. So he's just, when you think of bandwagon, that's JC. He loves people that win. So that's why we're joking about that. So anyway, today's show's a wrap, brought to you by Wrap Spot. Be safe out there. Enjoy your day, folks. We will see you tomorrow.